And our next speaker will be Saruni Maina. Saruni, awesome. So brief about Saruni. Saruni is a developer, relations executive at Chipakash. He's passionate about creating products and services that seamlessly adapt to customers' lives. Welcome.
The purpose of my talk today is just to something that most of the speakers here have actually brought up, and that's networking, self-branding, those kinds of stuff, right? And I want to give you a story, a personal story, and this is just to show you that we all go through this. So let me just do a proper introduction of myself. My name is Saruni Maina. I work for Chipakash, which is a fintech. I'm not in InfoSec in any way. The much I know about InfoSecurity is VPNs. I don't know if that even falls in that category. And anything else that I know about data privacy is accepting terms and conditions. So, I'm a developer relations executive, which just basically means developers are my customers. And I work to make sure that developers are able to integrate our product well. And how I got here is an interesting story because I started off in media. I used to be a blogger, and if you accidentally find me somewhere on YouTube, I'm very sorry for what you're gonna go through. I remember there's one time someone tweeted that watching my videos made them sleep. And it hurt me at that time, but I was putting myself out there, right? I was creating content. I'm not about to embarrass me right now. But like I said, I started out in media, and I'm pretty good at writing. I wouldn't lie. Even now, I do have a personal blog on Medium. But so back to the story that I was telling you. So started out in media, worked in a company called TechWiz for 2 years, and then went to another company called Gadgets Africa, also in media. So basically what I was doing is I was doing reviews and writing about news that is happening around the country, the continent, talking to experienced professionals, giving their stories, startups, and all of that. Sounds fun, sounds interesting, but I couldn't do. I was broke. I would not lie to you. Because I was doing reviews, and why I've mentioned the broke part, is I would get phones for free. See all those nice phones, I see iPhone 14 has come out. I would get that phone for free. I'd probably have an iPhone 14 on my right side, and on my left side, I'd probably have the latest Samsung Galaxy Fold 4, or whatever they're called nowadays. I'd be using a MacBook or an Asus that also was given for free. So all this sounds very exciting. Like, wow, you get to use all this tech. You get to experience all of these things. You get to travel and go for all these events. But imagine doing all that and already customer number one Tala. So that to me was my wake-up call. I realized that, hey, I did have passion for what I was doing, but it was not paying me. It was making me happy until tuitisho pesa ya bill. And then I'd be like, si uniokole, and then end month ukifika, nakusort. And this not long ago, this was back in, when did I quit my job? 2021? That isn't. And it's because during COVID, I took a 50% pay cut from already something small. So yeah, I can tell some people here, probably your allowances were higher than what I was earning as a salary. But now, back to the networking part. So I started job hunting, and as everyone who's come here since I joined has spoken about how difficult and hard job hunting is. And probably those of you already doing it can attest to it, you know. So exactly the easiest thing to do. And this is the part where I realized how important Twitter is. Yeah? I just say LinkedIn, by the way. I agree with you. LinkedIn is depressing, bro. And ladies, hey, I'm going to use this very general terms, but imagine going to LinkedIn and all your friends have joined Microsoft ABC. You cannot even write congratulations without tears in your eyes. Not because you are happy, but it's because you're there asking God when will it be my chance? Yeah? Everyone you went to school with, right? Is there someone that just joined Safaricom? The other one has joined AWS. Someone has gotten a job in Ireland. The other one has been poached from Google to go to, I don't know, the UK. Now we're Apple Pro. You have the latest iPhone 14, 50. Anyway, back to the story. So I'm just going to talk about Twitter specifically because this is how it worked for me. So I'm a noisemaker on Twitter, not in class. And I literally voice my opinion on everything. And by everything, I don't mean politics, everything tech. So if the government goes and says, oh, we want to introduce certification for techies, I know no one will hear me, but I'll go voice my opinion and talk to myself on Twitter. Twitter is therapeutic, by the way, guys. For anyone who's not on Twitter, is very therapeutic. Yeah, you go talk to yourself there. Eventually, like one of my friends here and followers, they start paying attention to you. Someone retweets, someone responds, and you realize that you're actually building an audience. And this could be maybe not the audience that you probably want initially, but one very important thing about being very outspoken is you never know the day you will trend. But please make sure whatever you do, don't trend for the wrong reasons. Please, just saying that. But now back to my story. So I've quit my job and I'm like, I need to get into proper tech. I was in tech media, which is trash. And I need to get into proper tech and get this money that I'm seeing people with. So I started applying to jobs and I was laughing actually because all these things were being told me about the mistakes people were making. You know, using one CV and unafinya sent to all. Wow. Same CV, whether that style of CV that even has, we're mentioning about our hobbies and how you like climbing trees over the weekend, all of those things. Well, it's fine if you're still putting that in your CV, but again, I'll also say, it's not my business to tell you how to do your CV, but from my experience, that never worked for me. I had to customize these CVs to the role itself, and again, I had to lie. I hope my bosses will never see this, but yeah, you know, sometimes you lie like, oh my gosh, I finished this course. Hizo iko kwa Udemy hata uchaklike pale kwa wishlist. But on your CV you finished. But so I started applying to all these jobs. And that's how I ended up. Okay, I actually really got so many rejections. I think Microsoft rejected me for 3 different roles. Bruh, anyway, I really did have a lot of guts. I got rejections from Google, from even the smaller startups, from the Safaricom and all of that. And I finally got an interview at Chipakash. And this interview, the only reason I got it was because I went on Twitter, found the person who was to be my boss, and I tweeted at them and told them that, hey, I applied for this role, and if you don't give me that job, I believe it will be your loss. Very gutsy. And I have no idea how that worked, but maybe the guy felt threatened because after I joined, 3 months later he quit and went to another role. So, I'm just saying that for me got me the interview. And the most interesting thing is, all of you here are superb at what you do. That's the truth, right? Like I said, I have no knowledge on InfoSec, so I won't try do red hat and blue hat stuff, but you are amazing at what you do. And all you need is one step on the door. Trust me. Like that one person to listen to you and say, okay, let's give this person an interview to scare what they want to say. Let's just look at them beyond their CV. Let's see who this person is. So for me, after I got that, I was hired, amazingly. And then 6 months down the line, I got bored. Why? Because I was getting into this role, which was a product design role, by the way. I was getting into this role because my passion for it was money. I was like, yeah, I need to be rich. I need to get some tunes, so let me do this. And I'm a good designer, by the way, which I was learning while doing the interviews. I had never designed before. Like I said, miracles do happen. So after 6 months, I got bored because I realized that this is not my passion. Yeah, I was there designing stuff, but then not feeling like I own anything. So what did I do? I went on Twitter again. And this time, there's a guy called Wizard Jalakasi. I don't know if those who are on Twitter who know him. He's actually an alumni of USIU. He's the VP of Global Developer Relations at Cheaper Cash. So you can see the irony. I'm going to Twitter to talk to someone who I work with. Not because I couldn't just directly talk to him through Slack or whatever means we use, but because he followed me on Twitter. So I was like, at least we have a rapport, you know. I can go start with memes, reply to his tweets, apapale, and then finally slide in the DM and be like, hey boss, by the way, you know, I also work at Cheaper and I'm bored with what I do. So can I come to your side of things? It worked. Literally, I didn't even do an interview. And then he was like, oh, actually, yeah, we've been looking to hire some more developer relations guys, so, and it looks like you know what you're doing. So hey, yeah, come, join me. And that's how I got in. And, excuse me. Now, as I try to wrap up, because I also don't want to talk too much, I've given you a story of how Twitter changed my career and profession for me. But I had to actively do it. So we've been told that one of the ways for you to put yourself out there is to network. I can tell you this for sure. Networking for me is one of the hardest things that you can do, especially face-to-face. I'm a keyboard warrior. Twitter tukipatana tutapelekana. But face-to-face, I can hardly talk to anyone. So now you can imagine, you've attended these conferences, maybe this is even your 50th conference in a year, but you've never left with saying hi to anyone. I totally understand you. I get you. And this is where I'm here to challenge both organizers, the senior people in the profession, and even you yourself. So to the organizers and the senior people, the ball is really in your court. I remember there's this time, I'll actually just pull up my Twitter page, because there's this tweet I sent that brought quite the star. And I basically said, tech events in Kenya are not friendly to newbies. So there was two groups of people. There was newbies who were like, yes, tell them. Yeah, they're not friendly. And then there was organizers who were like, we can't do everything for you. We can't spoon feed you. But you see, organizers were looking at it from this perspective of, we've organized this event. We've brought all these amazing and talented people. It's up to you to go talk to them. But what usually happens most times in these events, after the panels, after all the sessions are done, people will group according to who they know. So you'll hang out with your friends, right? You're gonna sit with the only people you know. So imagine you're alone. You came from Nakuru to attend this conference with no one, you know no one, and you're gonna live the same way because there's always just that fear of, how do I go talk to a group of people? And you know the funny thing, even as a guy, it's not the same way as Medokati Madem, by the way. It's very different. Because here it's a professional setting. You're trying to go sell yourself, you're trying to go talk to someone who will probably change your life in the future. So, here's my proposal to the organizers and the senior people in the profession. How about we change things a bit? Instead of always having conferences that have themes of, hey, let's come talk about how to get a job, let's come talk about what is InfoSec, let's come talk about this new thing that is happening with cloud technologies and all that, which they are good, and they should not stop. But how about we add more of social events within tech, whereby the main purpose of the event itself is not to come to teach or tell people about the sponsor's products, but it's basically to come and hang out. Just think about that. You're coming, everyone gets a chance to introduce themselves, say what they do, where they're at in life, and whether they are looking for a mentor, or they can be a mentor. You know what that does? That breaks the barrier of the one person who doesn't know anyone in the room. Now they know who they can approach. Now they know, okay, so person X does A, B, C, D, and that's what I'd love to do. So why don't I go talk to them? And because it's a social event, we bring up activities that intentionally make people think of it as team building. You know, the way we do team building, and we have actual events where people get to know each other. If you've ever done any team building, you realize that sometimes you live there talking to people you are not talking to when you arrive. So that's just the challenge. And for you as an individual who doesn't know how to network, let's say for example, this kind of events never come to fruition at all, is use social media to your advantage. It's honestly one of the easiest way to overcome the fear that you may have of approaching someone when they're in a group of people that they know in an event. The best way would be finding someone, if it's a speaker, if it's someone who was in a panel, getting their social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, and then just start interacting with their content. Whenever they post something interesting that you like, start interacting with that content. And you never know. Maybe one day they will respond. I remember someone mentioned that Ali Blue Tikiwa. Has happened to me when I was looking for a mentor. Not on LinkedIn. Gosh, that's why I hate that platform. You can clearly see someone read. And they didn't respond, but no one owes you a response, by the way. But what do? That's the time you move on and start talking to different other people. So what I'm saying is, as I conclude now for real, is that do not be afraid to use social media to your advantage. And as a techie, the biggest thing you can do for yourself is to use your social media, not for banter, but for your work. So that whenever someone Googles your name, your Twitter pops up, your LinkedIn pops up, whatever, if you have a website, a blog, that pops up. And they're able to see. And you never know who will run into that. And another thing that has been coming up, I actually do run a Twitter Spaces once a month. And I do talk to professionals in different spaces in tech. And there's always these people who, within the space itself, they ask questions and you're able to link them up with the speaker. So social media has become the new frontier where we are able to meet and talk to people and possibly get connections and just network, because the truth is, without networking, chances are the job you're applying for will just be overlooked because someone else knew. It was mentioned very clearly here that people love working with their friends, and it's true. Let us go to organizations, especially departments. I know by department, within our company at Chipakash, a whole department were poached. Why? Because the manager came, they were like, oh, I need to hire people. I know five very good ones. Let me show you. So, challenge, just make an effort to actually network. And if you can't do it in person, do it in social media. Yeah, that's all I can say. And that is my talk for today. In case there's any questions, I don't know if there would be any questions with that, since I just basically blabbered for 20 minutes or so.